Good evening. Welcome to the Tuesday, April 26th meeting of the Mason County Board of Commissioners. Thank you for everybody being here and to the public for listening in. Mr. Armstrong, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, and thank you for traveling down to see us tonight. Can we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner District 1, Randy Netherland.
I'm here.
Commissioner District 2, Tim Sheldon is absent. Commissioner District 3, Terry Jeffrey.
Here. Correspondence and organizational business. Can you please report the correspondence received by the commission?
Sure. We Petition and Lobby sent a letter regarding webmaster blocking. The Liquor and Cannabis Board sent a liquor license application for Sunshine's Produce and Propane and a list of businesses with liquor and cannabis licenses due to expire within 90 days. Law offices of Richard Finnegan sent a letter regarding iFiber Communications. Cheryl Williams applied for the Board of Equalization, and Jeff Thompson sent a letter regarding the Veterans Advisory Board.
Thank you. Is there any other organizational business we need to dispense with?
No.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is our open forum for citizen input. This is an opportunity for you to speak to the commission regarding any items that are not on the agenda. Is there anybody here that would like to speak to any items not on the agenda? Please raise your hand. Mr. Goad, thank you. Is that young man going to testify to us?
He's learning.
Good evening. I have already provided.
Thank you.
My name is Tim Goad. I'm here to speak tonight about what is going on with the Liquor Control Cannabis Board and how they're allocating licenses within Mason County at large. Mason County has been granted by the state of Washington, 7 potential licensees for the retail marijuana stores. There's 4 of them that are up and running. One's located right near Shelton, 2 are in Belfair, and 1's in Allen. Last Wednesday, the Liquor and Cannabis Board, otherwise known as the LCB, notified Alter Care, who they're here tonight, it's Kat and Steve, that the final 3 applicants went to what's called final inspection. That's the first page of my notes. So what that means now is effectively all 7 potential retail licenses for Mason County at large are spoken for. The final step for these 3 applicants is passing the final inspection, which is a site review and some other final things, similar to a final inspection on a building permit to close it out. What's concerning to me is that these 3, 2 are located in Belfair, 1's located in Allen. So what that means, 6 of the 7 allocated spots for all of Mason County are concentrated in Belfair and Allen. And it breaks down, if you run the addresses, it's literally 6 miles of Highway 3 where there's 6 stores. Where that should be concerning for Mason County is that with the 5052 legislation that was introduced after the 502, which brought the recreational stores online, the 5052 was introduced to phase out what are known as medical stores because they're not regulated. And so a certain number of licenses were increased statewide to phase out the medical stores. And also, there's a 37% excise tax on recreational sales, of which, with 5052, 30% was in kickback to localities. Before 5052, all the revenue went to the state. And so now there's 30% comes to Mason County in this case. I provided numbers for the 3 operating stores in Belfair and Allen, and their projected 12-month sales between those 3 stores is approximately $2 million, of which $165,000 will trickle down directly back to Mason County's general fund. What's concerning is, if you think of it as fishing and each store is a net, there's now going to be 6 nets in one portion of the river. And so with Alter Care's 2 applications being thrown out, one of which is located on Highway 1 at Taylortown, coming in right when you get into Mason County. The other one's on Washington 3 going right out of Shelton. The whole 101 corridor is going to have no representation. So what that means literally is tax dollars that would be coming to Mason County are just going to get passed by. Those sales are either going to be captured by Little Creek Casino because they opened the store, or literally they'll just drive up through Shelton, through Hoodsport, through all of Mason County on 101, because there's nothing between here and there. My second projections were very conservative projections for the 2 stores that Alter Care was looking at opening. I don't own any marijuana retail. I have no interest in this. I am the landlord of these 2 locations. I'm looking at buying them. So at Mason County, by the LCB's decision to not look at population distribution, which the statute says that they must, Mason County's looking at foregoing about $400,000 in tax revenue because those sales are not going to occur. And so by giving 3 more stores in Belfair and Allen, it's not like the number of fish in that stream are going to increase 2 times. There's just going to be 2 times more nets catching the same number of fish. And then the 101 river, they're just going to be going by. And so I don't know to what extent at the commissioner level that you folks are aware of how this process works, but for 6 of 7 spots to be just up there, that should be concerning just on a revenue basis, because $400,000, and that's a trickle down revenue that comes back directly to Mason County. You guys are never going to see that, and that's the LCB making the decision. Go ahead.
I have a couple questions for you on that.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, at the legislature, that ain't how they passed it. Are we getting $400,000 out of this?
No.
We
Oh,
haven't
sorry.
seen it yet. No.
Yeah, because the way it works is the legislature has decided that the counties, they took away some of our liquor tax, they replaced it with some of the cannabis tax, then they brought it down to next to nothing out of the cannabis tax that actually goes to the counties, and they've got I think it's a $12 or $20 million bracket for the whole entire state period that they're allowing for only a few years, and then that dries up. So the county doesn't get a bunch out of this, just so you know. But that should not be the reason why we do things anyway. Are you saying that they were denied by the state because the other ones were already?
I'm saying how the LCB has put the process is chaos, where they will tell you that you are approved to submit your documents, and that's when Kat and Steve, when Alter Care submit, documents or bank statements, everything, and then you can start to build out your location. And then when you put in for your final, that's when they say, okay, they come and they do the final inspection. Then you're licensed by the state or not. But then after that, the jurisdiction gives either a special use permit, city occupancy, things like that. And so my concern is that, not that the ordinance as is vague. There's like one paragraph on how the retail for Mason County is supposed to operate. And really, it doesn't say, says nothing about where they're supposed to be located. And it's not picking individual winners and losers. It's saying for a way to maximize the revenue that Mason County may not be getting now, but statutorily, there's Mason County, all the local jurisdictions are supposed to be getting money. They're supposed to be getting this 30%. Kat could comment more specifically on that because she could be right after me, because that's her specialty in this. And so maybe there's a disconnect in how Olympia is actually putting this money back out, and they're doing what they call that would get nuts and you're moving them around real quick. But the fact of the matter is, if tomorrow they said, okay, we're going to start releasing money to the jurisdictions, there's only so many fish in Allen and Belfair, and they're all going to be caught by 6 stores, and there's nothing down here. And then you look at medical need too, because part of what 5052 is supposed to address the medical patient, so they have a place to go for regulated product. Because the medical side is essentially the Wild West, where folks are getting whatever's in the stores. The recreational side and the processors and producers are very, very, very regulated from a safety and quality point of view. And so
I guess my question is, though, did they deny them based on this? Has anybody denied them based on this? The reason why I'm asking that is we're being told now that they're going to be lifting that other, and that our original understanding is not going to be accurate anymore.
How about I cede the podium, and Kat would be much more qualified
Would that be up to the chair?
to answer those questions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
My name's Kat Bryan.
Hi.
We're with Alter Care, trying to get 3 stores open in the county. Basically, went through the process. You get a priority status. You're allowed to go through the process after an interview, submit your documents. We went through that process in 5 other areas before landing here in Mason County, where it's completely underserved. The medical market is completely underserved in this area because you only have 2 that have the medical license. That's where we started. We started with patients. I want to give back and make sure that they have safe access. serving just those two tiny areas, you're asking patients on disability to go to different areas. To answer your question, we did get denied based on somebody getting to the finish line first.
Okay, you for sure, that is what I'm asking.
Right.
So the state has officially denied your application, saying that we've reached the capacity, because that's what I understand has changed. So I need to.
Right, I've heard that the cap will possibly be lifted, but for us, we've given a 30-day notice to relocate, find a new venue.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
new venue meaning a different.
Meaning Mason County is completely closed, and that we need to find another location within 30 days in an allotted location, or we lose our license application.
So I understand one of these, I understand the Mary Meds, which is in Belfair, I saw a post saying that they had passed their final inspection, that they were certified now.
Right, so if that's the case, then there would technically be 2 licenses left in Mason County, but there's 2 other people at final inspection stage. And those people have stopped us from being able to move forward, but also triggered our 30-day notice to move. Meaning that if those
As you
people...
can tell, we have no control over that, because we're even surprised
Right.
as we're learning how this works. It's definitely not us doing it.
Sure, of course
Yeah,
not.
But, interesting, okay.
Right, and Thurston County was very similar, but they had their county assessor go ahead and estimate the dollar values of what they were getting from the revenue, and it was astronomical to them. People dropped their jaws, they were ecstatic. Over the next 2 bienniums, they were expected to, introduce over 1,000 jobs to the county, just based on not even workers at farms or retail shops, but just in electricians and construction, road work that needs to be done. Places are being upgraded. Farms that hadn't been touched for years and years and generations are now being, maybe torn down or renovated, brought back up. Property values are increasing around farms all over. And I think it's a good, you have to serve these patients who don't have the funds. It's not easy to get out of the house. They can't go very far, but if they're all funneled just to this one little area, I mean, who are they going to pick between? But once you have 6 stores in one little area, like he said, they're going to be splitting the same revenue. It's not like they're generating any new revenue. And they're not serving any outlying areas. They're just drawing from the same pool.
Yeah, one more time.
Please.
The commissioners, at least between the 2 of us, we've been neither for nor against the
Sure.
industry. We're just trying to work with it. The one thing I can tell you is, I'll be happy to, and I'm sure the Commissioner Jeffries, she's always willing to help businesses. We'll look into this and see if we can't help you. If you can share the information,
Sure.
the documentation that you have with us.
We're happy to.
I'll make some phone calls and find out where we're at, and maybe I'll get a clarification on it, because I understood it to be a little different, but I'll find out. But again, not for or against
Sure,
a
sure.
business, but our job is to help you
I
as
appreciate
a
that.
citizen, so we'll see what we can do.
Well, we love it here. We've moved our children out
place
here.
to
We
go.
want to, put money back into the roads and the infrastructure that's here because it's the right place for our family, and we would love to put something back. And we'd rather serve the patients here, since unfortunately we were told by the time we did Seattle that was closed. So where else to move? Near where we live and where we raise our children, and try to keep a nice environment for all of us.
Well, I spoke to Mr. Goad earlier, and I'll be honest with you, the way the Liquor Control Board makes notification to us, you need at least one person full-time tracking
Yeah.
all the notices and what's going on with each of the applications, and so I gave up.
Right.
I mean, I kept saying new business after new business after new business coming through, and it wasn't clear to me who was getting finalized and who wasn't.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Mr. Goad had shared with me his thought that they should take into consideration, the distribution of the population. But the way I read this, I don't know if it's an RCW or a WAC, I think it's when they consider the number of outlets, not the location of the outlets. So then,
Right.
I think I'm going to predict what they'll come back to us with is, you folks are in charge of the location, not us.
Sure.
And we should have been, there shall be 2 allowed in this district, 3 allowed in that district, and I shared with Mr. Goad, I was not wanting to pick winners and losers. I felt like the market could do that.
Right. Well,
or should do that, as it should in any commercial business.
Sure.
But the other side is, I'm sure the population of Belfair and Allen are not happy about having
I can assure you they're not.
6 of them up there.
I do believe we can better serve them in more allocated spots. It's also safer for, like you said, if the market does play itself out, half of those stores would possibly make it, and the other half, those licenses allocations would be open. Who would they be open to? The retail process isn't open. If places like us who have gotten a 30-day notice and finally just gave up like you did, I mean, we
Right.
walk away and that license is just sitting there for who? And how are they going to open that process just for a couple here and a couple there? I don't really know.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
May
thank
close
you.
our opportunity.
Thank you for being here.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for wanting to bring business here. I appreciate
Thank you.
that as well.
Thank you. Appreciate
And
it.
Mr. Godey? he's got the baby.
Would you happen to know where this 420 downtown is?
It's the old Merriman's building in Belfair. It's a small one. You know where the root cellar is?
Yeah, but-
Next to the
Root
tavern,
cellar
right?
is Gone to Vita. I think it's right between them. It's on the right side if you're driving into Belfair. It's like a little shack.
Okay.
Realistically.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Well, thank you very much for bringing this to our attention.
That's the one that opened up on the weekend. How's that one get all the way through?
Please, please.
Well, I'm
Could you
Steve
sta-
Yang with Alter Care. Basically, we started Alter Care back in June 2012, and we started in the process of paying our taxes, trying to do everything right. At that time, obviously, there wasn't the opportunity to do 502 or 5052. But we tried to serve medical patients, and over years, I mean, I grew up in an environment where I grew up in Oakland, California, basically. There's a lot of drugs, it's everywhere, but I grew up away from it. I was brought up that drugs are not good, but through the light of my experience here in Washington State with the medical patients, it actually changed my opinion. Because as a kid, my folks has always told me to stay away from it, it's not going to do any good. And that was ingrained in me. But having to see medical patients go through chemo and have a quality of life with this medicine itself, it brings joy. Because not everybody's able to get up beginning of the day and go on with family and enjoy their company. They're forced to be bedridden and to try to go through what they're going through and hopefully be able to go with family and do some of those stuff. And just hearing some of these patients saying, yes, I do have more energy than another patients that going through the same thing. And when Washington State decided to do the recreational, I was a little hesitant, and frank. Just because I didn't know where it was going to go. But at the same time, yes, the medical market wasn't quite there. But I believe as now I've become an adult, all those decisions as a community, we have a say. We can help medical patients, not only our communities, how Washington State is approaching it. Hopefully tax dollars do go down to the community. As we all know, our kids are the future, and we need to put money there to help them, our patients, and it's a great opportunity, not just in the business sense, but in communities, because not only it does good, yes, there is bad, but as adults, how do we control that and make sure it's not getting in the hands that aren't supposed to get it? And if we're able to basically, as adults, show other people that, yes, it can be used responsibly and that it can help the community, it can help the people that needs it. Overall, going through this process with LCB has been somewhat disheartening. Because partly, I'm usually a very private person, don't say much. Most of my patients that do see me don't even know I'm an owner of my shop, just because I like to keep a low profile. But I like to see their smiles in their faces when they do come in. And just when I saw the opportunity to open up, it was just, how can I help people in the process and do this as a living? Because in the day, we all have bills to pay. But finding a passion in this has basically become something else for me. And knowing that if we're able to, as adults, try to navigate this route in terms of not only research for medical patients and handle this type of product in a community that we all grew up in, knowing that it's been put in a bad light. And I believe in terms of how we go about it, in terms of just educating not only other adults, kids at the same time, what the effects when that time comes around, I believe as a community, you're able to have people that's understanding of what it is and not abuse it. Because part of it, I believe knowledge does bring a whole lot of possibilities to people, and in terms of how to go about it in the future. With LCB, it seems like it kind of lost its light. For me to go through the process in the retail avenue, it's been hard. Our main goal when we first did apply for 5052 was just looking at the possibility of continuing the operation in Alter Care as a medical shop. But given that Seattle has reached its allotment, they asked that we move, and we searched, and Mason County was one of the locations that we did look at, just because we do feel that there is a family environment here, and we do want to keep that. And part of the frustration in any place that we do look at is that you do want to see your tax dollars being used to help the community, not being wasted or being funneled elsewhere. As long as it does good in the community, I believe that, you know, as much as where marijuana came from, it does open a lot of doors that, as I look at it now, coming from my millennial generation, that there's not many new possibilities. If you grow up, you're either directed in the direction of be a doctor, lawyer, something specific, or these days it's all technology. Not everybody is technology driven. I mean, it does great in society.
Sir, I hate to interrupt you, but we do need to move along, so.
But I just want people to know that marijuana is, yes, it does have its good and bad, but overall our goal is to help people, and we want people to have access to it. But at the same time, we have to be reasonable in terms of how we approach it. Not just because one entity believes this is how it's going to be. We, as a community, have a voice, and we want people to make those decisions together. And I just hope that, you know, as a community, we all come together and try to find out what is the best route, and how can we help others. It doesn't have to be me, it could be others that are in the same position to make a difference. And that's what I'm asking for.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for bringing this to our attention. I appreciate it. Is there anybody else who would like to address the commission? Sir?
I'm a little slow.
It's okay.
Steve Bloomfield, 391 Southeast Delman Road, Shelton. I wish I had some of his holding in what he has to say, because I'm up here every week telling you guys something, and I feel a little guilty about monopolizing time. But this week I have a gentleman that lives not too far from me. We're zone 1 and 5 where we are. He owns probably about 100 acres of land. And recently he decided he wanted to sell a parcel of land, about an 8-acre parcel off of a larger block. And he went to have it straightened out so he could get it subdivided, and was advised that it would take about 6 months for that to happen. It's quite a lengthy time, I thought, to start with, but seems how 2 weeks prior to that he was diagnosed with terminal cancer and has 3 to 6 months to live. that is unacceptable length of time. We should be able to prioritize something like that, bring it to the top, act on it quicker, and let the man live out his life with the dignity he deserves. And that sale of that property helps him achieve that. So could we please kind of look at that just a little bit? And I'm not saying make an exception for one person. I think anybody in that situation should be dealt with in a special manner. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to address the commission? Mr. Andruski, thank you.
Hi, my name is Steve Andruski. I live at 538 Terrace View Drive, Shelton. I just wanted to put on the tail end of our cannabis conversation. I don't know the rules myself, but are those companies that are up in the Belfair area, are they allowed to move their business to another location, or are they bound to where they opened their business? That's sort of my question. So let's say those 6 entities, whoever they are up there, decide to move down into another area. Are they capable of doing that? And if they are, maybe that's something they can take on as far as an option.
So Mr. Goad had shared with me that there's an application process to move, correct?
Yes, it is possible to move, but the LCB is not processing any applications to move now. Because they're trying to get through all of the work that's on for new applications. And the supervisor told me that it will be at least a year before they look at processing any moves. And a move is like a new application. Yeah, because they go through the whole process of site verification and security. They look at all the surrounding areas. They notify all the surrounding businesses or residences this is going in.
I just wanted to I know we're talking over here, but wouldn't that be something that would happen anyway? If another company was going to go somewhere, they'd still have to look at that area and make sure it's approved and it's a good spot. And so no matter who's doing it, there's a certain cap of how many are allowed in the community. Where they are positioned, they can work that out as far as choosing to go somewhere else in time.
Well, in a sense, that's what they did. They decided they wanted to go in the locations that they went into.
And they were first to get there. So
Apparently, and I'm still a little confused on one of the numbers because I thought it was a different number than that, wasn't it?
Well, it used to be 5. Then they lifted the limit and with a very nebulous sentence that said, but at any time they can then put on a new limit. And apparently at some point, without notification to us,
Because I hadn't heard that.
they put the new limit on as 7.
So who are they? We don't have
The
any control
Liquor and
of-
Cannabis Control
So
Board.
this is our community. They have more control than we do.
The Liquor and
about-
Cannabis Control Board, as was either through the bill or the initial
And
initiative.
even we had illegal ones, they haven't stepped in to help, knowing that they were not operating legally at all. They
Okay.
just have chosen to stay out of it. They tell me they'll step in July, but we'll see what happens at that point.
I can comment on a couple
The,
of things.
yeah, the commission.
Did you want to answer a question, or,
With
because
permission, I can.
if it's a quick answer to the question, because then we need to move on with the regular business.
It is a quick answer. After July 1st, the LCB has said that enforcement will become a priority for cases like that. What localities can do is if you don't like what's happening, it's being dictated down, where you can put a moratorium on it to study it further. The local cities can do it, or the county can say, look, we're going to push the pause button until we understand this better, and we don't want to dictate to us where these are going to be operating. And
Okay.
so, while you can't say, no, we're not going to, you may disagree with the number being allowed, but you guys can push the pause button and say, we're going to put a moratorium so we can have public comment periods and understand where these are going.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is there anybody else that'd like to address the commission? Mr. Schmelzen, hello. And congratulations on your new position with the Conservation District.
Thank you very much.
Unless that's what you were going to talk about.
It's not, but I'm excited about it. Thank you. So I was just hired by the Mason Conservation District in charge of community engagement, so I look forward to hopefully working with you guys on that. But I'm here today to speak about Shelton to the Top and the trash cleanups we've been doing on a weekly basis since before I talked to you last time, a couple of months ago. But I was hoping to just give you a little bit of an update, and then
Please.
also there may be an opportunity for the commission to help out the cause of cleaning up our county. So at this point, we've the numbers are a little bit fuzzy because the sheriff's department has been helping us haul off the trash, so we haven't always been getting the same pounds of trash, the receipt that we were getting before when we were paying the dump fees and bringing that there ourselves. But our best estimate is between 15 and 20,000 pounds of trash that have been cleaned up so far.
Congratulations.
That does not include tires and other tires and other things that have been recycled. They measure those differently. We've had over 100 different individuals come out and help us with this effort. I really feel that, it's everything that I was hoping it would be. In early February, when I organized the very first cleanup, I was hoping that it'd really catch on like this, and it has, and I'm excited to see it move forward. And actually, tomorrow night we're doing our first weekday evening cleanup. Now that it's staying light longer, so because I've been getting a lot of people telling me that Saturday mornings just aren't good for them. And then we've actually been also doing Sunday mornings. This whole time we've been doing Saturday mornings in or around Shelton. Webb Hill Road in Union, we've noticed there's a lot of dumping that happens right off the road. So we could be out there every weekend for weeks, unfortunately. And that's really why I'm here today, because we're going to continue to pick up this trash every week. We're increasing our efforts. We're hoping to get more and more pounds of trash removed from our streets and parks and all sorts of properties as we move forward. But there is this concern about the fact that all this trash is being left. And as I mentioned a couple of months ago, this is happening. Basically, everyone contributes in one way or another, whether it's kids throwing trash out the car window or flying out the back of the truck, or people dumping, or abandoned homeless camps, or whatever it might be. Webb Hill Road, though, has been kind of enlightening to me, just how much dumping has happened there. It's every 3 feet, it's a couch, or not even 3 feet, couch or a fridge or a chair, and it's really, really bad. And so I'm thinking of ways of how can we alleviate this situation. And I know that we used to have, or I've been told that there used to be a free dump day or free dump weekend on an annual basis, or something along those lines. And I know it's an expense to the county. I do think it's an expense that's worth it. It's something that we are hoping to do a little bit of private fundraising through GoFundMe or another source. We've spoken with a few service groups that are interested in helping to fundraise for something like this. But this is something that a free dump day or free dump weekend that I think the county would help this effort. I think would be really beneficial, and something that our group and our the online community and the real life community that's been helping would really work hard to make sure that we get as much trash cleaned up as possible. And I'm hoping that even do the neighborly thing and find out if somebody does have a lot of trash in their front yard, which is something we haven't touched any properties with houses on them or anything like that. If it's a property that basically has people living on it, we haven't been touching it. But that is something that we know there's a lot of trash even in front of people's yards, and a lot of times this trash ends up getting dumped. And I don't know whether I'm guessing it's just because of the cost of it. So, obviously there would be some people who might otherwise pay for trash. They would go, oh, free dump weekend, I'm just going to bring it then. But I think for the most part, the people who are doing the right thing are going to continue to do the right thing. But this will be an opportunity for those who do not feel that they can afford to, bring it to the transfer station to get that trash taken care of. If that's not something that the county commission is willing to support, maybe there are other things like even having certain dumpsters around the county that are known as public dumpsters where you can bring your items. And we're working on creating some signage right now, including signage that just has helpful information for certain areas, like the nearest public trash can or the nearest public dumpster if we have those. I think there's lots of different ways, and I'd love to speak with you and your staff at some point to see what resources might be available where we can have as little cost as possible, effectively utilize the existing resources possibly. I know with the sheriff's department, it sounded like that was a great fit there because we were paying the dump fees every weekend, and It sounds like they don't necessarily have the resources to always pick up the trash themselves, but they are able to help us out there. So that was a great partnership, and I'd love to continue to find more of those partnerships.
Please.
A couple things on the, with, the county had kicked in more money to do this specific thing. We actually had briefings where we're talking about creating a pot of money specifically for organizations like yourself and other ones that would sign up, because we don't just want people just dropping, but perhaps we can set up a briefing. I would like to talk about a free dump day, or maybe a free dump weekend. I'd also like to give you an idea, not
Great.
something that I don't know we can do as commission or whatever. What if you were, because you got a lot of volunteers that you're doing. We have a lot of homes in this community where this is a serious issue, as I'm sure you know, because not only are they contacting us, I know they're contacting you because they're telling me that they're talking to you. With that being said, let's say we have a free dump day or a free dump weekend. What is the possibility that some of these people might get on a list with you and you might be able to put the crews together on those days to clean some of those properties?
That's the hope. That is the hope that we could really, especially, if this free dump day happened next weekend, it might be pretty tough. But if we, obviously, I don't think that can happen. If that would be a major focus of ours. If we know that we're going to have this opportunity to get all this trash off of these properties, off of the streets, off of the sidewalks, just really take care of this thing. And it's not going to be taken care of in one fell swoop. But if we could really make a huge impact, this is something that I think our volunteers and the community would rally around. And
Well, we had talked about having money set aside. No matter what, somebody has to pay for the dump when it happens. We can't even just say it's free dump day.
Right.
We have to pay for it. There has to be money that changes hands because it's a separate fund. But perhaps, especially something like that, we can try and get some of the money for that purpose. Another thing that we can maybe tag on with you, because you already have public outreach, without a doubt. Perhaps we can join in with that outreach and post it on the county's website so that they can click onto there and sign up for your volunteer crews or sign up for being able to get a house on that list with the owner's permission or some of these things. It's a large subject though, and we have to brief. We don't do it from here.
okay.
But what do you think about that?
I got a lot of ideas, and I think this is not the time to talk about it, but Kevin, I would love to just have this discussion with you and our utilities department and the budget manager. Are you available during the days on Mondays?
I make myself available.
Okay, and I know how to get a hold of you. So I would like to continue this conversation. There's many different ways we could pull this together, and up here is probably not the best, because the best minds, or when you have many minds working on it, I think you get the better idea.
Great. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it as well. Actually, we need to move on with the conversation, but you're welcome to call us at any time and offer your opinion. Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, that's the easy part.
Yeah, really.
That's the
the
hard
easy part. Is there anybody else who would like to address the commission? Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate your coming here and bringing these really, really important items to our attention. So we will move on now to the next item, which is the adoption of the agenda.
First of all, I think those people were wise to hire him. Okay, the adoption of the agenda. Item number 6, Madam Chair, I move for the adoption of the agenda as presented.
I'll second that. It's been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda as presented. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Approval of the minutes. There are no minutes. That takes us to the action agenda. We have 8 items on our action agenda. The intention is to have each of the items approved with one vote. We will read through those items. Anybody in the audience or the commission has an opportunity to ask that any of the items be removed for a separate vote and or have any questions, they can ask them at the time. So Commissioner Netherland, I will ask you to read items 8.1 through 8.4, and I will finish the list, and then we'll open it up for questions.
I'd be glad to, Madam Chair. Item number 8.1, approval of the Veterans Assistance Fund applications for necessity items, $750, utilities, $1,648.79, and housing, $375, for a total of $2,773.79, as recommended by the Veterans Service Office. Item number 8.2, approval of the warrants. Claims Clearing Fund, warrants number 8039061 through 8039166 for a total $414,500. $345.72. Claims Clearing Fund, warrants number 8039246 through 8039568 for a sum of $1,408,355.67. Direct Deposit Fund, warrants number 30173 through 30852 for a sum of $589,691.75. Salary Clearing Fund, warrants number 7001806 through 701846 for a total of $885,638.36. The total of these is $3,298,031.50. The Claims Clearing Fund year-to-date total, $7,628,981.63. Direct Deposit year-to-date total, $3,696,835.04. And the Salary Clearing year-to-date total, $3,165,813.78. Item number 8.3, approval to appoint Rosemary, oh, you gave me this one, huh? Vasilich?
Sorry, Rosemary.
Yeah, I apologize. Would you say that? Vasilich. To the Lewis Mason Thurston Area Agency on Aging for term ending December 2017. And item number 8.4, approval for the board to authorize Public Works to use the Small Works roster to solicit bids to replace and repair one of the pump seals at the Belfair Waster Water Facility. It should be wastewater facility, lift station number 1. Award will be announced at a regularly scheduled commission meeting.
Item 8.5, approval for the board to authorize the chair to sign the Title VI Non-Discrimination Agreement Annual Update and Accomplishment Report for the reporting period from May 1, 2014 to April 30th, 2015, just for edification of the community. That is that non-discrimination, that's required by, I think, our CRAB board. Is that correct? Our County Road Administration Board? Yes. Item 8.6, approval to apply for the following Recreation and Conservation Office RCO grants: Youth Athletic Facilities, YAF, and the Local Parks Program for the Hood Canal School District to rehabilitate their athletic fields. 8.7, approval to authorize the Mason County Economic Development Council, EDC, to redirect the expenditure of funding in the Department of Commerce contract S16 75460-001. Instead of hiring a consulting firm to help with the economic development element of the comprehensive plan, the EDC will contract with Zoom Prospector Enterprises for online GIS planning information to be used for economic development for the annual cost of $8,100. EDC will also purchase customer relations management CRM software called Executive Pulse at a cost of $8,000. And finally, 8.8, approval to sign the letter of support for the South Sound Behavioral Hospital. Does anybody in the audience have any questions on any of the items just read?
May I ask for 8.6 to set aside and vote on Saturday?
Absolutely. Anybody have any questions on any of the items? Commissioner, any questions? Anybody, any other items requested for hold for a separate vote? Commissioner?
No.
Hearing none, I entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I move for the approval of the action agenda, items number 8.1 through 8.8, removing item number 8.6 for a separate vote.
I'll second. It's been moved and seconded to approve items 8.1 through 8.8, removing item 8.6 for a separate vote. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Item 8.6, approval to apply for the following Recreation and Conservation Office RCO grants: Youth Athletic Facilities, YAF, and the Local Parks Program for Hood Canal School District to rehabilitate their athletic fields. Frank, are you willing to present this item? Would you like to present the item? Okay, thank you very much. Normally we have staff do it, but that's okay. You'll be staff if we get that grant, right?
I'm Annie Robbins, PO Box 125, Lilywop, Washington. I'm the Hood Canal School Board Chair. I'm also an officer in the Hood Canal Education Foundation, a nonprofit that supports the school.
Thank you for considering being the project sponsor for the renovation of the football field, soccer field, and track. Hood Canal School does not have a comprehensive plan. The Education Foundation activities did not meet the required criteria for 3-year involvement in youth and community athletic activities that's required by RCO. So we are coming to you. We are in your comprehensive plan inventory, both our football field and our track. So that's why we're asking you to help us. The new field will be built on top of the existing field and track. Drainage and irrigation will be installed and topped off with natural sod. An all-weather 6-lane track with an 8-lane straightaway will surround the fields. The surveys and the preliminary designs are all done. Associated cost estimates for the purposes of the application will be finished this week, and all of them are being paid by the foundation. Mr. Bastone has some other comments he'd like to make.
I just wanted to say it's been for our community and the members of our school community as well as the surrounding community, we've always had this vision of improving our athletic fields. Recently, I was at a Kiwanis Club meeting up in Hoodsport, and one of the members of the community said, you know, it'd be nice to go ahead and be able to walk around a place and have something that I could go to that is helping with the health and well-being of what I'm after. And I said, you know what, that's exactly the vision for what's this for. If you ever come up to Hood Canal and you look at our fields, you would recognize right away that these are dilapidated at best, right? So this is a really important move, not only for a school district, but for a community where folks often travel a long distance to be able to participate or have a field accessible to them. Some members of the Shelton community even ask, and then they come to the community or they look at the field and they say, maybe not. So we really think this is an opportunity not only for students, but also for family members and community members in general in Mason County that could come out and enjoy some athletic fields. So we really appreciate the opportunity to apply in partnership with your group.
Well, best wishes to you.
Thank you.
We'll go down and lobby for you.
That's
How's
right.
that sound?
Half of it's just making sure that's there. So Annie has some other preliminary.
Oh, thank you. So this will be a quarter-mile track, a full-mile track?
You'd have a quarter-mile track on it.
Quarter-mile.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
It'd take us 4 times to get around there, and we can all come out and health and well-being and all the good stuff that comes with it. So
Do you have a football team?
we have an intramural team, so we're a K-8 school, so we play against other intramural teams. Flag football is what we offer. So we offer some sports seasons. We do offer track and football. But we often get community members that want to do other things. Like there's a rugby group up in Shelton that wants to participate in some different fields. And we often get community members who just want to have an outdoor space to do some athletic activity in general. Frisbee golf, some different things like that.
Sure.
So,
And you
it is
might
very
you
cool.
might get a youth athletic organization like a Pee-wee's or whatever, utilize it for the kids out here as well.
And the nice part for your group is that it would be open after hours. So it's, once school's obviously shut down, then it becomes open for everybody else on the weekends included too. So that's a nice feature for the grant.
Well, I think most people have the memory of going to the school to go play
Right,
kickball
yeah,
or whatever on the weekends.
So
Yeah.
just
I know I did.
Offer that kind of comprehensive, just good fields where folks can come out and be healthy. So.
We look forward to a partnership with the county part.
And I didn't want to leave out soccer. No,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
don't dislike soccer.
Well, with improved fields, we might be able to do something there. Good stuff around there.
I'm sure this is a great example of, we've described it quite a few times that we're a tool in the drawer. If you don't use us, we're worthless. It's up to you. You guys are smart enough to realize that you could utilize the county for this, and it's not any skin off anybody's nose in this county for us to partner up and to be utilized in this way. As a matter of fact, it's only beneficial. It won't cost the county taxpayers any more money. It won't be anything to that. So this is a win-win-win situation, and I applaud you guys.
And I would like to say that Mr. Pittner and Mr. Vrabel and Deb have been very helpful so far.
Oh, good.
We have some pretty good staff, don't we?
Yeah, you do.
Congratulations, and my best wish is that this gets up to the top. I think that the need could not be more pressing, and I hope that the RCO board does see that. And we'll do our best then if you need anybody to testify, just let me know, okay? Okay. Okay.
And he's not here, but I will make note that Commissioner Sheldon was also very much in favor of putting this on the agenda to move this forward for us to vote on today. So,
Yeah, because May 1st is your deadline, isn't it?
second, yeah.
Second?
No, that was Frank. He was honest. He made sure. Yeah, he made sure.
Hey, we can pull this together. So
Okay, great. Thank you. I'd entertain a motion
Okay,
then.
Madam Chair, I have,
Oh, sorry, is there anybody else that want to testify on this issue? Okay, close. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I happily make a motion for the approval to apply for the following Recreation and Conservation Office RCO grants for the Youth Athletic Facilities, YAF, and the Local Parks Program for the Hood Canal School District to rehabilitate their athletic fields.
And I'll second. It's been moved and second to apply for the Recreation Conservation Office grants as stated in the motion. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye?
Aye, motion carried. Thank you.
Good luck. We'll take it down ourselves and we'll help.
Okay. And you've got some great representatives, too, to help you with that, too. Okay.
Yes, we do. Community effort, right?
So it takes us to our public hearing. We have a public hearing to consider the sale of real property located at 92 Anthony Road, Belfair. And it's actually the town of Allen. It's not even in Allen.
Yeah, we do that again, huh? It's actually Grapeview, isn't it?
I don't know if it's officially Grapeview. It is Allen, yes. So it's to consider real property located at 92 Anthony Road in Allen, parcel number 22129-75-90092, and 93 Anthony Road, Belfair, Allen, parcel 22129-75-90013 for the price of $21,000 to Nikolai and Alina Nutu. Mr. Pinter.
Thank you very much. Frank Pinter with Support Services. This is a public hearing to consider the sale of those two parcels, 92 and 93 Anthony Road in Allen, parcels number 22129-75-90092 and 90013. The parcels are at $10,500 each, and for a combined sum of $21,000, and the sale is to Nicole and Elena Nutu. Any questions?
I have no questions, Commissioner? No.
Thank
you. So we will open up this hearing for public testimony. Is there anybody here that would like to testify? Is there anybody left here that would like to testify on this item? Hearing none, I will close public testimony and Commissioner deliberations.
I don't have any, I just have one question. If you call for a motion, are you going to want me to add into the verbiage to appoint Commissioner Netherland to sign on behalf of the Commission?
That would be good, yes. Okay, I just want to compliment you, Mr. Commissioner Netherland, for hanging tough on this, on the negotiations on this, and just to let the folks know that that he managed he suggested that we ask for one price for both the lots, just to ensure that both lots get sold, because otherwise there was a chance that only one of the lots would have gotten sold, and there's a good chance that if that would have happened, that lot standing alone would have been difficult to sell. So thank you for stepping up and doing what you do best, negotiating land deals.
And we stuck together, though. It wasn't just me. We stuck together, and we were able to bring more than twice as much of what they tried to get it for.
That's true, too.
Number one half.
That's true, too. Okay. So I would entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I move to adopt the resolution for the approval of the sale of the surplus property parcel numbers 22129-75-90092 and 22129-75-90013 on Anthony Road in Allen, Washington. It may be Grapeview, just in case we have to have it there, and that we appoint Commissioner Netherland to sign the official documents on behalf of the Commission on these properties.
I'll second. It's been moved and seconded to adopt the resolution for the approval of sale of surplus property parcel numbers 22129-75-90092 and 22129-75-90013, Anthony Road, Allen, and/or Grapeview, Washington, and to appoint Commissioner Netherland to sign the official documents on behalf of the Board of Commissioners. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Thank you. That takes us now to item number 10, which is our board, no, it's our, did we move that yet? department heads and elected officials, there are some managers. Do you have anything to speak to the commission and or the public on?
Please come up.
Please come.
Look happy. All right. Good evening, Commissioners. Loretta Swanson with Mason County Public Works. And just wanted to advise you that the Water Resources Bill is moving forward. And that means that there is the potential, a good potential for federal funding for the Skokomish restoration projects. And so that's very exciting, great news for us. And then on another front, Mason Conservation District has been pursuing grants for the local match, and that's moving forward. No word on that, but looking positive, and we thank our project partners, the tribe, and of course our great helpers and doers, the Conservation District. And,
Absolutely.
and thank you, Commissioners, for your letters of support and support throughout the project. It's been a big deal. And as Mr. Bloomfield said, a long time coming, and we're very excited.
So the match monies that the counties and the partners, the counties and Skokomish Tribe are required to put towards this project, I think are successfully going to be garnered through the Floodplains by Design grant program. We were informed that the pre-application for the grant was approved and there was an invitation to go to a full application.
That is correct.
And so, and then we also need to thank Senators Cantwell and Murray and Representative Kilmer for their effort too to get this moved through.
Absolutely.
So
Lots
thank you,
of
Loretta, for
players.
your work on this long project.
Oh, I've been just in the recent end, and it's been very humbling to be part of this. Lots of hands in it and lots of support, and it's a great project.
Great, thank you. Mr. Pinter, do you have any announcements or anything? Okay. So that takes us to the board reports and calendars. This is where we report where we've been and any of the items that we would like to share with each other regarding how we were representing the county on regional boards, as well as announce any potentials for being together under the Open Public Meetings disclosure requirements. Commissioner Netherland, would you like to share your calendar first?
Okay, let me see. I'm trying to get it all in here. So, give me one more minute here. All right, we'll start with last week. League of Women Voters, Mason Transit Authority. We had our briefings. I had a day set up of meetings, and everything was moving around. And I missed several meetings that day, just being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Oh, darn.
For the briefing ones. But then I end up coming here and had meetings all day. Whenever something doesn't happen for me, that's always my hardest day because I have empty time, and then everybody fills it up quickly. And every phone call gets done right away. So it actually was probably my busiest day. Attended the North Mason Community Voice meeting together. I met with the developer in regards to the trails. It's all still alive and well up in the North Mason area. I met with with the citizens that had some issues with the potential business coming in to the Pickering area. And I assured them that it's not what they thought, because they really have an idea that it was a sex industry coming in there, and I explained to them we don't have that, and that is illegal. And then they had some other ideas that they were going to bring in some illegal aliens 3 to 5 years old and put them on the street there, and I explained to them that's illegal too, and the county is definitely not sanctioning anything like that. I'm serious, this actually occurred. And went through all the process.
You can't make this stuff up, folks.
No, that's part of our job. You'd be surprised. And wonderful people, but they hear these things, they get scared, and you can't blame them. What there is a possibility of is a marijuana processing bill being put into that building. They had an application that went in there, and they may make edibles that have sexually explicit candies. So that's what it grew out of, that they may make those as a part of a product. So, but I went and I spoke with them, and I think we have them calmed down, and I think everything is going good there. I also met with a candidate for Kitsap County Commissioner and some other individuals from up there in regards to some potential partnerships that, if this person gets in, is going to be a great move for Mason County to be able to do this. But even if not, they're looking at a racetrack and a bunch of other stuff that we may be able to help with and partner with. And we could sure use
Auto racing?
different types than what we have here. And we may be able to utilize, again, utilizing the waste facility for some of those potential buildings. And so we'll take advantage of every opportunity.
Always
we
want
get.
customers.
Yes, we do. You know, $57 million plant, 286 customers. That's what we have right now. I think we might need a couple more to make it. But we're still surviving it. We're making it so far. Coming up in the next week, let's see, we have an industry roundtable from the EDC in regards to value-added ag. We have Northwest Chamber of Commerce Luncheon. Going to meet with developers again in regards to the trails and the potential park coming up there into North Mason region. I have a camp meeting where I'm going to be sleeping on a bed for a 5th grade camp that is about this wide. And if you can ever imagine how that goes when you're my size. And the scariest part is it's a bunk bed and I sit on it and I can just hear it talking to me. Get off! I'm afraid to roll over. I had to do this once before, so I remember. It is, you don't sleep because literally you're afraid it'll break and there's not enough room on the floor. So, aside from that, Greater Peninsula Conservancy is having a dinner. I will be attending. I don't know if you're going to be there or not. I will be attending a meeting with the veterans
Thank you.
at Memorial Hall for you. And then courthouse security. And let's see, this is the last part I didn't have. We had courthouse security. Then I also have our briefings. We have ribbon cuttings, 2 of them. One of them is for the hub, which will be occurring. You're probably going to want to be there at that one. And let's see. We have a port meeting. I have a meeting with the left board, and that brings us back to our commission meeting.
Thank you. I will be, let's see, last week following our commission meeting, I met with our chief of police, City Shelton Chief of Police and the sheriff, and some representatives for a new psychiatric hospital being proposed in the Lacey area, which we today just approved this letter of support for. And we wanted to make sure that they were going to be responsive to criminal justice needs and psychiatric involuntary holds. We had the Mason Transit Authority Board, and just to let folks know that we have extended the interim directors. We have an interim general manager for the Mason Transit Authority, and her role as the interim general manager will be extended through the summer period. So we're not going to go right out for a search for a new executive director at this time. Let's see, had a criminal justice working team meeting in which we had a very good discussion about methadone and a potential methadone clinic in the Mason County area. I just got some numbers from the company that does methadone clinics in both Grays Harbor and Olympia. They say there's about 90 people from Mason County that currently use those, but they believe that if there was one within this community, that would be about 300 people that would be using that clinic. Those are pretty sobering numbers in my opinion. Had a meeting of the Law Library, got to attend the Skookum Rotary's Academic Excellence Awards for juniors in the Shelton High School. Always a good feeling when you see those academic achievers. Attended the Hood Canal Coordinating Council Integrated Watershed Planning Update Steering Committee. We're updating the plan. Let's see, and then had a Mason Transit Authority Finance meeting. Met with business owner and festival event organizer regarding our new process for marketing local festivals with our lodging tax dollars. And then I met with some shellfish growers and Port of Shelton Commission and director regarding what would it take to prioritize and get funding for a commercial dock for the port, because there's a huge need for FLEPC space, and the small shellfish growers talking about what that, how can they help move that forward, and the need for it in the market, kind of how can we formalize the statistics around the market need. Had a work session of the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Organization, had some good discussion around the budget, and there will be some some decisions I need to bring to this commission. And then our lodging tax, or our tourism promotion contractor, had a meeting with them about some of the work they've been doing for us and future things. We had briefings on Monday. I also attended the Transportation Improvement Planning Citizen Advisory Group presentation at the North Mason Voice. I had a couple phone meetings with various folks, and then, let's see, a lot of phone meetings today. I will also be at the industry roundtables for value-added agriculture and food production, more phone meetings, and then the Community Action Council Board meeting. Have a Mason Matters meeting, Lewis Mason Thurston Area Agency on Aging, meeting with Representative Drew McEwen. And then there is this weekend, April 30th, an April Showers event at the Mason Lake Recreation Center, 7:50. Get you live music, food, and a chance to just celebrate that we have rain here. Gosh darn it. Let's go out and play in it. And then we'll be back here for commission meeting briefings on Monday.
Madam Chair, before we adjourn, I'd like to thank you and let the community know. We put a lot of weight on your back when we tasked you with handling all the issues on the mental health issues and the possibility of bringing services to Mason County. And I want to let everybody know that we're appreciative of that and that you've done a wonderful job. And one way I can prove that you've done a wonderful job, just to let you know, because we don't have an opportunity to talk about these things, I got approached by Kitsap County trying to sell me on a bunch of aspects of it and explaining to me what they want. And I explained to them that we have full faith in you, and so it's whatever you decide. And the only reason why I bring that up is, as a negotiator, when they're coming to you and they're begging you, that's a good place to be. So that means you're doing it right, Commissioner. Keep holding them to it. Get us as much as you can out of these deals. And but again, I wanted to let you know I appreciate that, because for them to do that shows we're doing well.
Thank you. Well, it's been an honor to have the full commissioner's trust, and this is an amazingly interesting field. And I got to tell you, when I got into public policy 10 years ago, I'm a land use gal. So
we figured we were doing the opposite stuff of what we should have been doing, but just the way it worked out.
And you're an environmental guy.
Who'd have thought it?
Who'd have thought? So,
and we're premiering both of them. So we've done our,
and I sure hope that the community understands the depth and breadth of county government. It's amazingly vast, and there's no way you can know it all, so having great staff always helps. Thank you to the staff. Okay, we had enough love fest. Thank you very much for your kind words. So if there's entertained a motion to adjourn?
Madam Chair, I move we adjourn.
We are adjourned. Thank you.